Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what you guys normally see on the channel. I don't have a script or anything, so I'm kind of just freeballing it. I also don't have an editor, so a lot of the times when I do things like these, it's pretty much just going to be gameplay and me talking over it. But I want to talk about the state of PvP and how I think it's going to kind of change and evolve as we progress throughout the Destiny timeline. I know there's a lot of PvP content creators who've covered this topic, so I'm not going to try to re-emphasize a lot of the points that they've made, because everybody that's made a topic about the state of PvP has brought up some really good points. The reward for doing endgame content, so things like trials, competitive, the loot is literally based off of your power level. If you're 300 light, you're probably not going to get those tier 5s. You might get a tier 4 for going flawless if you're lucky, but you're not really getting that very good loot, right? So that's a whole separate kind of topic that we can dig into, but I'm not going to dig into it too much. A lot of people have covered that. That definitely needs to change. But one of the big things that's kind of ruining Crucible right now is the fact that when you play trials or you play comp, it feels like you're playing mayhem. There's always an ability on the field at all times. Somebody always has a nade, someone always has a melee, and even if they use it, they have something to regen their nade and melee extremely fast. I think someone made a video about the old stat values, and they said that if you have 70 for things like grenade, melee, and class ability, that feels like the old 100. So it's a lot easier to hit those thresholds, and it's a lot easier to hit 70 on all your stats. And so whenever you're playing, it just feels like, okay, I baited out a Tempest Strike, and then you're just followed up with 2 to 3 more Tempest Strikes, depending on how many hunters are on the team. Destiny abilities should feel like they actually do something, and trust me, they do something right now when you have 3 Tempest Strikes coming at you through a doorway. But what I mean by that is, when you have an ability, it should actually be something that changes the outcome of the round, and you're like, okay, if I'm gonna nade this person, I'm gonna be able to make a play off of it, right? Or if I bait out this grenade, I know they won't have it for at least 40 seconds or something of that nature, or they won't have it until the very end of the round if it goes to time. So that's the point that I'm kind of trying to make, is everyone feels like the game is so hard because there's just so much ability spam. Everything in the game feels like it takes little to no skill to actually execute something. If you're running Arc Hunter with Tempest Strikes and you throw your melee into a doorway and you miss it, you can instantly dodge and just have another one ready to go. There's no skill gap in that. That's just ability cooldown and spamming a button. I've played so many trials games this weekend where people would rather run at me with a shoulder charge, or they'd rather do something other than shoot their gun at me, because they know that they have more success using an ability than actually shooting their gun. And the best way to explain this is that abilities should feel like they're complementing your gameplay. You shouldn't be thinking, okay, I'm gonna wait until I have a nade just to take this gunfight. It completely alters the way that you play the game. And now I'm all for people running builds that are super strong and, you know, finding out different things that work in Crucible, but at the end of the day, the primary focus should be shooting your weapons, right? And special ammo is a whole nother debate. People are like, well, why'd you get rid of the special ammo then? And that's a whole nother thing that we can talk about too. If somebody's just running at you every single round with a fusion rifle or a slug shotgun, they're not really playing the game. It's almost like you're playing like a public TDM match and you're just running into for a trade or something like that. There needs to be a healthy balance of everything. There needs to be weapon play at the top, obviously, because we're shooting guns, and then you need to have the abilities that feel like they complement your gameplay. If you 2-tap somebody and throw a nade and kill them with that, perfect. That's a great use of your abilities. But you shouldn't feel like, okay, I 2-tapped this guy and threw a nade, now I'm 50% back to my nade and I'm gonna have it in about 15 seconds. That's just not the way that the game should feel, in my opinion. Other people can argue and say, well, that should be the way that Destiny is. It's in the sci-fi genre. It should really feel like we have all these different things kind of coming together ability wise and feeling like, okay, this isn't Call of Duty that we're playing, and that's perfectly okay. But above all, ability should be complementing your gameplay, not being the thing that takes over the engagements. The reason why a lot of people like Destiny is the gunplay and the movement. You have things like Icarus Dash, shoulder charge. You have hunters that can bounce off ceilings and go super far in a certain direction if you're going for like a diagonal push or something like that. You have all these different things. You have strand hunters that can grapple. I know all the classes can, but strand hunters have too. So you have all these things that make the identity of the characters, but it shouldn't feel like I'm getting infinite grapples, or I'm getting infinite Tempest Strikes, or I have a smoke nade every 5 seconds. Those are the things that are ruining the game. It's not making it fun for people. People are just sitting there. How many bolt charge shields can I put down this round? I bet if I put one down right now and my teammate is ready to throw another one down, I'll have one by the time mine's about to be out, or by the time that his is about to be out. So it's really just taking the game, what it is at its core, and then it's amplifying it by 100. And so I'm not going to sit here and talk about it all day long, but that's kind of the premise of abilities, gunplay, and movement. They should feel like they all synergize and complement each other, with obviously gunplay being at the top. And when I say gunplay at the top, I mean things like primaries. Now, special is a whole other situation that I kind of touched on a little bit, but at the end of the day, you should feel like your primary game is the main thing getting you kills in the game. If you use your shotgun to clean up a kill, great use of your special weapon, but you shouldn't feel like you're flying in every single round as an invis hunter. I'm going for a slug shotgun. Don't worry, I got 3 more shots, or even if I die right now, guess what? I'm going to spawn in another round with a special shot. They've been trying to adjust this a little bit by adding things like the special ammo meter back, but the problem with the special ammo meter is it still feels like you're getting a lot of special ammo. You got boxes that are spawning around the map, so if you really wanted to, you could take 45 seconds out of the round and go run around all parts of the map where the special spawns and grab 3 shots of ammo and then carry that into the next round. So there's things that are still making special feel very prominent when you have things like that. And then with the introduction of like the pellet hand cannon, that's basically a special weapon, right? It almost shoots just as good as a shotgun. Granted, it's not a one-hit kill, but it almost feels like you have infinite special ammo, right? There's a lot of ways they can go about changing it, and I'm not going to dig into every single way that they can fix it just because we'd be here all day, but that's kind of the main point that I try to make. I know we kind of went from abilities to talking about gunplay, then we talked about special ammo and how that's a problem, but these are all the main factors that kind of affect Crucible. And even talking about guns, you have weapons in the game like Graviton Spike where you get 3 headshots and then you have a free 2-tap. You have things like the weapon stat where you go to 180 weapon stat with elemental honing on a 390 pulse and now you're 2 bursting. Abilities are the #1 problem in the game, but it's not the only problem. You still have things like weapons that are just way too strong in the Crucible, things that are extremely easy to use. There's just so many things in the game that are causing it to feel so bad for the average player that it's extremely tough for people to want to be excited about playing Trials. And as Destiny continues, when they take too long to change these things and people get tired of it, they're just not going to come back. At the end of the day, I truly do enjoy Destiny, and I think that's why I'm a little bit more passionate about it. I want to talk about these things. I want to get them circulated. I want the devs, I want people to be actively thinking about how can we improve the game, especially on the PvP side. I know the PvP side isn't the main focus of the game, but PvP is something that needs to be there to have something for players to do instead of just shooting AI the whole time. And if we can have people having fun in PvP, we can start to revive some of those player populations and make things incentivized enough for people to get in and say, hey, I can play 30-40 games this weekend. I don't mind playing Trials. I don't mind playing comp. I don't mind doing things like that. But we'll kind of transition into the topic of the player population, how that's affecting Trials, how it's affecting PvP overall, stuff like that. So I have some numbers to show you guys here. So if we take a look at the Trials numbers from last weekend or the weekend that just passed, we have 130,500 players who stepped foot into Trials. Now for this age in Destiny, this actually isn't that bad. We've had a lot of times throughout Destiny, especially the past 1.5 years, where as soon as we get over that initial hump of Trials coming back with like a little bit more new loot or different armor sets and stuff like that, the player base drops to, I mean, honestly around 75k. So we've even seen it drop down to 60k. But when you start comparing numbers like this to around 2022, I tried to pick a time frame where we weren't really in COVID anymore, because during COVID 2020, 2021, we had upwards of 750,000 people entering Trials. So it wouldn't be fair to try to use those numbers just because there were a lot more people at home because of COVID. So 2022, we were starting to kind of get out of the era of COVID. People were going back to work, back into the office, stuff like that. So obviously player count's not going to be insane, but it should still feel pretty healthy. 2022, we had 248,822 players on this week of Burnout. And this is at the beginning of 2022. If I start scrolling through here, you're getting things like, okay, we went a little bit up in Twilight Gap, 230. Then we start going up 248 on Jav, 316 on Bannerfall, back down to 242 on Endless, 367 for another week of Endless. Trials wasn't around for a month, came back, 367. People wanted to play Trials, and you keep going. Look, we have 378 on Jav. Also, we have good maps. Midtown 364. I know people are going to say Midtown's probably not that great, but it's not the worst. Burnout 409. Then we got things like Exodus Blue 321, Headcliffs 284. So the common theme here is like we're getting players to play the game a lot more than what we have now. Interest in Trials isn't really there. We might have looked at these numbers back in 2022 and been like, damn, that's half of what we used to have from 2020 to 2021. But then you also have to realize people are going back to work. Not everybody's at home. But in today's era of gaming, there should be some incentive to get people to play Trials. And you guys can also go look at all these numbers on Trials Report. You just type in destinytrialsreport.com, click all weeks for Destiny, and you can scroll through. So I scrolled down pretty hard, but you're seeing pretty much the low was like 220, right? 220,000 players. We would love to have 220,000 players playing Trials right now. It'd probably make the game feel a lot better. Right now, a lot of people don't like playing Trials because it feels so sweaty, or the average player is not having a good time playing Trials. If you're a solo player, you have to either get really good RNG on your teammates, or you have to be dropping 15 plus kills a game to feel like you can make it to the lighthouse. And part of the reason for that is because there's not a lot of people playing the game. So when you boil it down, when the player base keeps dropping, the only people left playing the game are A, the people that are extremely good, that just love the game and want to play it. B, carry streamers, people that play the game for a living. C, people that are trying to use stuff to gain an advantage. So whether it's Zims, Cronus, any software that helps you be better at the game. Or D, you're playing cheaters. And obviously I'm using PC as a reference here. I don't have a lot to talk about in terms of console. I don't really play on console, but this is kind of what it feels like for PC. And the numbers don't lie. These are showing numbers of what the player base used to feel like. And I promise you guys, the average player in 2022 compared to now play a lot differently. You also have different metas that people go through. You look at the top weapons used back in 2022, you got Austringer and Beloved. You have a hand cannon and a sniper. In today's age, you got Outbreak Perfected, probably with a pretty decent weapon stat. You got Graviton Spike, 2-tapping. You got sidearms. You got the hand cannon shotty. You have Redrix. Yes, there is a lot of different things being used, but going through different metas, so everything's not going to feel the same as it did back then. But regardless, we still have the numbers, right? Convergence, 326. We're going through Distant Shores, 327. Another thing that's pushing people away from Trials is when we get more than 1 week of bad maps. So let's say we get Cathedral of Dust for one weekend. If it's followed up by Vostok or something that you know the players don't like, people aren't going to want to step into Trials. You can try to negate those effects by adding in like double Trials loot, or maybe focusing on a weapon that everybody wants. But if people don't like the map, people aren't going to play it, right? Unless there's something that's really driving them to play it. Biggest suggestion is that if you're going to test a map, only do it for 1 week. Don't give us 3 bad maps in a row. It's going to make people not want to play Trials. We want people to stay in the playlist. We want people to feel like they're having fun, and we want the player population to go up. I understand we're at a point in Destiny where people might just not be interested in Destiny anymore, and that's actually something really big that I wanted to talk about. There's so much forced negativity about Destiny because of a couple things. One, people feeling like they're not heard. Changes aren't coming fast enough, so people think, all right, well, I don't care about Bungie anymore. I don't care about Destiny. They're not going to listen, so I don't want to play it. And then B, you have people that just straight up don't want to play Destiny anymore. They're getting bored. They're moving on to other things, and so that they're creating negative thoughts about the game. Oh, don't go play Destiny. That game sucks. Try this game instead. And that's perfectly fine too, but I feel like it's a lot of forced negativity on the game itself. It's kind of just like snowballing into just more and more hate mixed in with everything. If you have friends that quit playing Destiny, but you still keep playing Destiny, don't have people make you feel like you shouldn't be playing the game. At the end of the day, you enjoy playing Destiny, whether it's PvE, PvP, keep playing Destiny. Try to make new friends. Try to find different communities to be a part of. Destiny is a lot more fun when you surround yourself with people you really enjoy playing with. And I know it's hard to say, hey, I'm going to go on LFG today. Hopefully this raid team doesn't yell at me because I fucked up on this encounter and stuff like that. And I know we're kind of getting away from PvP, but this is all kind of coinciding with the thoughts on Destiny. If you play Destiny and you like playing the game and your friends quit, keep playing the game. Don't make people feel like that you shouldn't be playing the game. And if you've moved on from Destiny, then that's great. If you still want to support people and watch videos because you like them, that's great too. But when people talk about Destiny, it needs to be like constructive criticism type things, not just slandering them the whole time, saying they fucked the game, they did these things wrong, I don't know why anybody plays that game anymore. Like, that's just not the mindset to have when talking about games, because you kind of just foster all these other people to think that exact same way. Oh, I know we kind of went off on a tangent there, I'm sorry, but when I talk about this stuff, I'm passionate about it. I know I do play the game a lot on the weekends. Obviously I stream and do carries and stuff like that, but I do enjoy Destiny. And for somebody that enjoys Destiny, they want to see the game succeed. Probably heard people say this before, but it's the truth. If people didn't care about Destiny, they would just leave, go to something else. But people want to see Destiny succeed. It's a very unique game. I know I talked about a lot of points during this video. Like I said, I didn't have a script, so I kind of just went off what was going through my mind. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I didn't talk about that you guys probably want to hear about. So if there's stuff that you guys want to hear me talk about regarding PvP, just drop a comment and let me know what you guys want to hear me talk about more. I don't mind doing videos like this, especially when it's stuff that's very relevant to the game and how players are feeling. So please let me know. If you guys want to join the Discord, I'll leave it down in the description. I I stream every single weekend, and my Discord is dedicated to you guys and to helping you on your PvP journey. I have a Trials LFG, I have a First Flawless channel, I have people always looking for new people to play with. I'm here to help you guys out. I want you to enjoy playing Destiny at the end of the day. That's the main goal. So I'm gonna let this game finish out for you guys so you can see the outcome, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. 15 seconds, give or take.
I'm watching. They're gonna swing this. I'm with you.
Luga dead.
He's
Yeah,
Type him once, type him once.
Careful pushing him alone.
Tiger.
Got
Nice. Nice, nice.
Got the trade. I'll take it. The melee didn't
What's
whiff
up,
this
goodbyes?
time.
How you doing, buddy?
God bless.
It's going pretty decent, man. Pretty decent. I have well, so I'll feed you your barrage. I'm just going straight on zone, to be honest. I'm gonna try to delay it. Yeah. Of course.
That'll get your orbs will get me to
From one shot, I can't help you.
I'm weakened.
Let me know when you pop it. I'll jump on you.
Popping right now.
Oh, how did I die? I was in the well. Res is in the well. Hey, there we go.